Hello, welcome to another episode of Bro to Pro. We are here in the shop today, and today is hopefully the day that the car, can't even call it a car, the chassis leaves the shop to go down to Vero Beach, Bell Raceworks. But first, we gotta get some rear suspension and tires on this. The front suspension is replaced by our caster wheel situation that I made in the last video. So hopefully by the end of this video, or the end of today at least, I get this car on the ground, I get the suspension on, it's rolling, get the motor and transmission back in it, and then I get it on the trailer. But hopefully I can get it in. It's gonna be a lot of work, it's gonna be a long day. We're gonna make it happen. First thing I'm gonna do here is I have the axles still attached. They're removed from the diff, but I wanna remove them from here because rolling this around, obviously I'm gonna smack axle everywhere. So let's see if this will fit in there. Almost. This impact is amazing. Normally that would take like a feat of strength and a floor jack and a, breaker bar and everything to get that nut off. But not even connected to anything, impact just blasts it off. And then I'll go ahead and pull the axle out. And now I have another spare axle from my other car. Since this car is getting new axles in it, but they're stronger, better, and actually kind of like a cheap alternative to what I'm doing. So now I have spare axles, labeled them driver and passenger. Fun fact, driver's side, even though it is shorter, breaks a lot more often than the passenger side, so it's good to have probably almost double the amount of driver's side spares than it is passenger side. Part of getting this car on the ground is getting some coilovers back onto it, but unfortunately, I don't have any coilovers for this. I was trying to find some just like cheap spares because we're redoing the suspension for this, so I don't have my coilovers for this car right now. So what I'm gonna do is replace my rear tow arm back with the spring bucket and pop some springs in there. Since this car literally just has to roll to get on the trailer, so I'm not really care. Just gotta hold up the rear end of the car. So just gonna slap some springs in there, no struts, no anything. Put it on the ground and then pop it on the trailer. One side done. Both sides are now in. One thing I did notice is when you remove the axle, you remove the clamping force on your wheel bearing, so you can now see how bad your wheel bearings are, and that's wheel bearing play. I don't know about you, but I don't want to be driving around on that, and it looks like I drove the last round of Pro-Am and probably another drift event or two with the wheel bearing like that. So probably putting it into the wall a couple times didn't do too well for that wheel bearing, but definitely gonna be replacing that before the season starts. Next thing, I'm gonna go ahead and remove all these lines, remove the brake booster, remove all the brake lines and everything just to make the front end a little bit lighter, less dangling off of it. So let's get to work. Now that everything's all removed from here, everything's all cleaned up, I'm gonna go ahead and take these lines, probably just shove them up through the transmission tunnel where the shifter goes, just keep them on the inside of the car, keep them from dragging across the ground. Radial lines pulled up through the shifter hole on the transmission tunnel, so these will be nice in the car. Backside, I'll probably just zip tie up to like here or something just to hold them in place. Car's pretty much all ready to go. Now I just gotta kind of clean up everything here so that I can move the car over and start getting the engine and transmission prepped to go in. To be honest, having caster wheels on everything makes my life so much easier. Got the motor out here ready to go, got the transmission that's going in the car, got the adapter plate for the transmission, got the bell housing for the adapter plate to go to the motor. This is not the transmission I'm actually running, this is just an old CD09 that's actually broken. But I want to line up everything in the car properly, so I'm just piecing everything together just with a couple bolts. Not gonna have any oil, not gonna have a drive shaft, not gonna have any linkage or anything. It'll just be a placeholder to mock up everything for this, so that way when the new transmission gets in, it will fit better. And the new transmission is actually slightly smaller than this for the entire gear housing, except it has, since it's a top load shifter, if you look up G-Force GSR, the whole shifter mechanism is up at the top, so you can pull off the top and do that. So skinniness wise, it's a little smaller, but it's a little bit taller on that, so that's why we're opening up the transmission tunnel a little bit more. Alright, bell housing's all mounted up to the transmission. All that's left to do is put this on the motor, which I gotta get off the stand. I actually gotta go to Adams and get the engine hoist that we let them borrow. Once I get that on, I'm going to remove this shifter bracket and this shifter linkage, just because I don't need it in there and it gets in the way, and I'm not gonna remove it till it's all together because it's way easier to lift it by grabbing on that than parts of the transmission. I'm gonna remove all the unnecessary components and then kind of seal up parts of this with some tape just for travel. Just I don't want to get it all dirty inside, even though we're completely tearing apart the motor once we get it back. So I'm just gonna go ahead and remove some lines, remove some cabling, just stuff that's not needed for mock-up, and get it out of the way. Now that Marco's car is out of the way, I'm gonna go ahead and rearrange everything and kind of get it lined up to come out the door, and then move all of this, get some back wheels on this, and start getting prepped for putting the motor in. Let me go ahead and jack up the rear, jack up high enough so I can get that dolly out from underneath. Got some old Infinity wheels. I didn't adjust anything on suspension because obviously I'm not driving it, but with the rear bucket and everything, I have like crazy camber and crazy toe in. Gonna head over to Adams and go pick up that engine lift so we can get this motor in. Hi BC, anything good going on? Chase is looking good. Engine hoist acquired. Now we're at Home Depot. Gonna get some wood for the ramps because the caster wheels will not fit on that trailer because the ramps are like the big great ones and only made for big wheels. I'm gonna get some 2x12, cut it in half, and make a sweet ramp for the caster wheels. So I need the chain for the engine hoist, but I didn't get the chain back with the engine. So I have this strap, so I went ahead and pulled a bolt through this. So I'm gonna just strap the motor up and use that as an engine hoist. I'm gonna bolt those on there. Either not coming off, and then just tied it short. So I should be able to just pick right up there and pick up the whole motor pretty easily. Gonna tap the pin out for this, for the shifter. Alright, trans is all mounted up to the motor. Pulled all the brackets off and everything. I have the trans mount ready to go on. Motor mounts are already on it, so now it's just time to jack it up and put it on in. Alright, motor's pretty much in. It's already on the motor mounts. I just have to bolt it from the other side. I actually ran into a little bit of a predicament that these wheels on this, when you meet up with this, is actually the same width of my caster wheels. So I had to go off to the side just to get this in there. Transmission mount and transmission is all in. Motor's all in, motor mounts are tightened. Drop the strap, take the strap off, and we're good to go. Motor's in there, and it's in its home position with probably the exception of a few adjustments left or right. We'll figure it out. Arthur's going to do that down at Bell Raceworks. Car is ready to be loaded up, and now that it's ready to be loaded up, we got to make the ramp. So this is a 10-foot piece. We're going to go ahead and cut it perfectly in half. I have a saw here. I'm going to cut a 45-degree angle into it, so that way we'll have more of a ramp for those caster wheels to kind of help it up there. We'll probably still have to push it really hard, but it'll be better than nothing. Got my 2 equal length ramps now, so now I'm just going to back the trailer up kind of right up here. It's kind of tricky to get in here and get the truck up on ramps, so it's nice and level with this. It took a little trial and error, but I was able to wedge it in here sideways, get it up on ramps. And then this is all level now, and then I can line it up. Had to opt for the scissor jack since the other jack didn't really fit. So we're gonna wrench this up just enough to slide the boards under. We got the scissor jack in between. We got the strap. We got, well, 2 straps so I can slowly ratchet strap it up. I got blocks behind the wheel so it can't roll backwards. I'm just gonna get that all tight and then remove the scissor jack and get this thing on the trailer. All right, got the front ratchet strapped up to the top. So now it should roll pretty easy. So we'll just line up the wheels for the back and push it on. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Here we go. It's on. So after a little bit of feat of strength and pulling it on, we got it all loaded up. The reason I didn't use the winch is because none of it's wired up, and I have to basically jump it with jumper cables, and it hasn't been working right. This worked out fine. One thing I was worried about is this is a wood trailer, like wood on the deck, and that's a very fine point load for a lot of weight. I was worried about it breaking through, but had to go on the trailer either way. What I made sure is, though, for when I strap it down, it is on a beam here, so it lines up with a steel beam that runs the width of that. So I do have steel right under that, so I don't really have to worry about that breaking through. So we're just gonna get it strapped up and hopefully down to Bell Raceworks. So to get my car out, I had to push Marco's car out, and now we got to push it back. And just me and Sammy, and Sammy's steering. So I'm pushing, and it's gonna make it to like there, and it's gotta go in there. That's not gonna happen. Car is in. Almost. Now car's in. Thank you for steering, Sammy. Day 2, car's all strapped up. We're gonna head down to Vero Beach. Last night we decided not to go. It was getting kind of late and we were pretty tired, so head out this afternoon right after work. Go down there, meet up with Arthur, and hopefully get this car settled. Just arrived at Bell Raceworks.
Oh, we're filming now?
Yeah, I'm a YouTuber now.
Oh, God.
Hi. Okay, no, I'm done. Sorry. I didn't record it, but we got it off the trailer pretty much flawlessly. Nothing eventful happened as I thought, so. The 4 of us were able to pick it up, put some caster wheels on the back. So now this whole thing's a roly-poly go-kart. You like that? You like my spark plugs?
It's classy.
Not very stable.
So we have everything here for the turbo. We're gonna put a turbo in here. It's just gonna
This is a blue car.
No, we're just gonna put a turbo on there. He's gonna do all the fabric for it. If you don't know who he is, he's Adam LZ's cage builder for BMW specifically.
Just the E36?
Just E36s at Bell Raceworks. Alright, we're on our way back home right now. It's about 11 at night and I got about a 2-hour drive. So got a lot of discussion done there at Bell Raceworks about plans, what's going to be done, the time frame, all that sort of stuff. So I'm really excited about how it's all going to turn out. He's a great fabricator, so I know it's all going to be great work. It's just how soon can we get it done is the thing we're going to worry about. I'm actually going to be gone for about a week. I will be in Colorado for 5 days. So I'm having a little bit of time off while working on the car. I'll be kind of working on more stuff behind the scenes outside of the shop that I won't really document. But I'll be back full swing of things the following Wednesday. Hopefully get some stuff done outside of the car and in the shop that needs to be done. But for the most part, car is in Arthur's hands for now. So for the meantime, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.